Let me click it for you. All right, so we're starting. So I want to say good afternoon or good evening, good morning, wherever place you are. I celebrate you. All right, so today we want to go a step further and take some discussion, and I want us to pay a little attention. I mentioned earlier that I want to see the possibility of making the class, joining two major classes together, and I want to see how God can help us to consolidate. Today, I'm talking about sex, yeah, sex, the sex emotion or sex in marriage, is one of the things that I want to talk about, right? So, and I will really appreciate if we can all pay some attention to what are things I'm going to be saying. Now, I have discovered that this area of our discussion is a discussion that most of the time people don't like talking about it, but most of the time is the one that they actually do more. So they talk less, they do more, but just like if you're in a church, for example, you discover that people don't like to talk about sex. And the moment they mention it, you see some of them showing some action, but they do more of that. So they prefer the action part of it. But it's been observed that many people having issue in their marriage because of this area of sex. So I'm going to try as much as possible to focus on that. And the parts that I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to divide into two for us to know before marriage and after marriage. So many people need to have the right concept, right? So the first question you ask is, what is sex, as it were? Why sex being introduced? Why sex emotion? And that is why we have to discuss it. It is been known that sex is the greatest force, one of the greatest force on earth that tends to affect people positively or negatively. If you look at it very well, you agree with me that sex is good according to how it is being presented. You agree that sex is good. Sex is legal, sex is spiritual, and the spiritual dimension of sex actually says is the part where you activate a covenant. We say that sex is a covenant relationship. So when you talk about sex, actually, you are saying the spiritual dimension of it is the part where we induct what happens in one's family to another person's family. I'm going to talk about it a bit, but let me just quickly just give us this background information that sex is natural, sex is desirable. In fact, sex is healthy, but it is healthy and proper when it is done within the context of marriage. God actually created sex. And when you talk about the sex emotion, it's one of the things that God usually use to, you have to note that, to serve as an indication. Why do I use the word indication? If you are not sexually, there's no emotion, sexual instinct or emotion in your heart towards a particular person, note that you are in a wrong relationship, right? If you are with your partner and your body is not doing you gishgi, you don't feel, then you are in a wrong relationship. I know some of us have used religion to cover it up and all that, but the truth is this: when you are with your partner, there is always this drive, this passion that comes up, that you want to hug yourself and all that. It happens most especially within people that have mutual agreement within one another. So, and if you look at it, sex is actually designed, as it were, as an indicator. The sex emotion is actually designed as an indicator to you. So somebody says that I don't know that we're not sexually compatible. The compatibility is the sex part which people have committed sin. because they have tested it. But that's not what I'm actually focusing. I'm focused on the fact that if you are with your partner and you don't feel the emotion, you don't feel that, when you are together, the rod of Moses does not stand up, or you don't experience rough packing, rough packing that you have to be crossing your leg as a guy just because you want that thing to stay and it is not too obvious. And if that does not happen, then I think you need to check your relationship. Somebody said, I don't know, the person is impotent. And I say that maybe you have not really been observant. If you are with your partner, you hug one another and something is not showing in the trousers, in between the legs, not showing as if he's trying to move into one direction. And we have different shapes. Some of them are curved like this, some of them will curve like this, some of them will curve, some of them will go straight. Hallelujah. And those sharpshooters, the one that goes straight, it does go like this. But you see some of them that is curved like this. If you are in a relationship and you can just say categorically that you could feel as a lady, because most of the ladies are the ones that usually make that complaints. If you cannot say that you could feel the rod of Moses, then it shows that something is happening. So most of the time, it always shows that there's always this passion on your inside, wanting to hug one another and all that. It is a very good thing. So don't think that it's a bad thing. No, it is a good thing. It's a good thing because it shows that there is an attraction, right? There's an attraction between the husband and the wife. However, like I mentioned, that it is meant to be done within the confines of marriage, because the essence of sex, one of the things, is to enhance your productivity as a married couple, is to enhance your married relationship and make you to be fulfilled as husband and wife. It's not just about procreation alone. The covenant part of it is more like when you have sex is known to be an activation of covenant. What do I mean by that? There are different types of covenant, and the greatest type of covenant known is the blood covenant. The blood covenant is the greatest one that is known to the world. And if you don't understand the efficacy of the blood covenant, then you are missing out, or you are walking in error. So anyway, sex is known to be activation of covenant. And let me explain what that means. When you have sex, what it usually means is that you are exchanging spirit, you are exchanging covenant, which means the covenant that is operational in your life is now being activated in the life of your partner. The covenant that is operating in your partner's covenant, in your partner's life, is now being activated in your life. That is what it means. That is what it means. So being the spiritual part of it is one of the things that usually happens when we have sex. And you will discover that our parents that are very close to each other, by the time you start having sex, you discover that there's a transparent or spirit. One life is being mixed with this, one life is, and by the time they start growing, you discover that begin to look like one another. They begin to look like one another. Why? Because there is a transmission of blood, as it were, and blood, the life is in that blood. Right, so that sex is spiritual, which I've also mentioned. But we're saying here that we are not yet married. The expectation is that, look, you should stay off it. In most of the places, God will say you should fight. In some places, when it comes to some areas, God will say you should fight. But when it comes to sex, the only place that you see that God say flee. That's what sex is. A flee all appearance of evil, flee fornication, flee. It's not that you have the capacity. Why? Because that sex emotion is the greatest emotion known to man. Scientifically, you discover that your brain system will begin to work, your everything. There are some hormones or some enzymes. I don't know these enzymes. There are some things that is released in your brain when there is these activities that want to happen. So I just want us to understand that. And so when the Bible says both of them they now become one flesh, that one flesh comes as a result of the sexual involvement becoming combined in the spirit. So Sometimes when I conduct deliverance or something, when you are spending time to pray during this, some of us might have had multiple sexual connection. You need to break some of these things. Why? Because you have activated many covenants. So the covenant of limitation is being activated in somebody's family. The covenant of barrier, this thing of fruitfulness is being activated. Why? Because of the people, the multi-sex and these things that you are actually getting yourself involved with. So as you are getting married, please take note. There's need for you to pray. Why? Because there is a spiritual connection here and there. Some of us that are sharpshooter, you throw this and, you do what we call body count. You want to know. So some of us is 20, some of us is 50, some of us is 80. And you are like, one more time, man, I'm good. It's good. It's literally good, but it's as spiritual dimension to it. So with that understanding, talking about the sex emotion, you need to first of all ask yourself this question: what is my sex organ? What is my sex organ? Do you get that? Okay, so now I asked that the first thing we need to ask is what is the sex organ, right? So I know some of us be asking, what is Pastor K talking about? What PK was saying now? Now, the sex organ, I'm talking about the sex organ now. The sex organ is not just the thing between your legs, right? Your sex organ is not just the things between your legs. It's not your penis, it's not your vagina. Your sex organ is actually your mind. I'll say it again. Your sex organ is actually your mind. Yeah, that is your sex organ. And if you can control your sex organ, then you can control your life. So, and this understanding will help you. And let me just explain a bit in this direction. Somebody says statement. Okay, don't let me use what the statement has been made, but let me just give this better illustration when I use the word your sex organ. Your mind is what conceives the information, and when it conceives that information of either the thought or either the emotions and all that, it passes the information to your brain, and then your brain conceptualizes it. Your brain, as it were, or your heart, as it were, and your heart now begin to pump blood, and it pumps the blood to your organs. So the one that stays as a peeled banana suddenly becomes the rod of Moses. So it becomes the rod of Moses. Please take note. It is the blood that forms that rod. The moment the blood is no longer there, it goes back to the peeled banana. So is somebody with me? And I want to be sure I know this is the class that people usually keep quiet. They'll say, let me just watch what is he saying.
We are with you, sir.
All right. Okay, good. So, all right. So let's continue now. Now, I was saying that the rod of Moses is being activated by the reason of the blood that is being pumped. How come the blood is being pumped there? Is because the mind has conceptualized something. He has received the information, and the moment he receives the information, you see it being triggered, and then bam, he says, yeah, guys. So Irishare. Sorry, Irishare means a tool of work. Oh yeah, bam. The same thing applies to the vagina. The vagina closes and all that. The moment the sensation is being passed, you'll discover that blood is being passed in there, and then begin to open. Now, take note, I use the word blood. So when you say sex is a blood covenant, it's blood that enlarges it, is blood and all, and then it transmits it through that blood. So you will see when you say you have sexual disease and all that, it's transmission of blood. You are right through the sexual thing. So it's just for us to understand that your sex organ is your mind, and then and that will help you a great deal to know that, if you want to deal with this, you actually need to deal with your heart. If you want to deal with your sex involvement and all that, the first area you need to deal with is your mind. Are you with me? All right. Now, if you're looking at the sex part also, sometimes I say that many people don't know that before marriage, you're not supposed to sleep with one another, because doing that before marriage is called fornication, and it has a spiritual implication. Your body is the temple of God, and you're not supposed to be involved in that. If you sleep with somebody that is married, you are not married, another, it's called adultery. I want to believe that we know that, and it's not in line with God's will. However, if you have done that, you have indulged in this, you can go to Baba God and ask God for forgiveness and abstain from such things. Stop the involvement. Why? Because your body is supposed to be presented, you're supposed to be presented as holy, right? And all that. And and we've had some young people that usually say statements that, oh, if you love me, you will do it. Let's have sex. If you love one another. Sex is not a proof of love. In fact, abstinence, moving off sex is actually proof. Denial of that before marriage is a proof of love. Somebody have said, deceived one another and said, let's have it, at least we might love one another. It is, if you fall victims of that, you have actually lose, in quote, value. So one of the things you do during courtship is not to devalue one another, is actually to add value. Having sex is taking something away from the person. It's a way of devaluing one another. And one of the things that happens when you do things like it activates distrust, it activates suspicious, it activates you will not be able to trust the person. Why? Because if you have indulged in that sex, you see that there'll be this opportunity for the devil to be taking you through a guilt trip, right? A guilt trip. And that's why we have to try as much as possible to abstain from it. And I'm going to be telling you some of the things we expect us to do that will actually safeguard us, And sometimes I say to people that, look, if you want to get married to somebody and is pressurizing you to marry, to have sex, and that's the only thing you are focusing on, and I can bet you, if you continue that way, if the person cannot control himself or herself before marriage, there is 70 to 80% chance that the person may not be able to control himself after marriage. In other words, when you are not giving him, there is this temptation for him wanting to go and look for a place where he can release himself, right? So you see them having multiple sex partners. And that is why both of us, we need to present yourself as a living sacrifice, as someone that you are going in with the mind of God. So, and this is not the time for us to blame one another. You sometimes, when you have that problem, please take responsibility. Not she's the one that dressed anyhow. He's the one that is always pressurizing. No. Take ownership of that and please deal with that. Which in one of the discussion, we're going to look at some of these things. Are you with me, somebody? Let me be sure. Can I continue now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. So looking at all the discussions we've had, I know some of us will have so many questions. Also, what am I going to do now that we are married and we're sure we're going to get married? What am I supposed to do as a single and all that? Or how far is far in your marriage? What sort of things that you may not complete is not better for you to start. So we will say to some extent, try as much as possible. If you know you're not going to do the deal, the deal do, or how do you put it? Try as much as possible to stay off it. Bringing your body under control is actually your responsibility. So as singles, you don't need to deceive yourself, know your limitation, and please don't allow yourself to be tempted above that which you are able to handle. The sex emotion, which I've mentioned earlier, is the strongest emotion known. That if you cannot handle that naturally with your natural mind, you may not be able to handle it. And if you look at the book in Proverbs, you see that area of sex has brought great men down. Just to let you know how strong it is. It has brought great man, and it's always targeting people that can pull down. And the easiest way to pull a man down is through that area. And please don't forget, there are 3 areas that man is being affected. Some people use the 3F. Some people, they've used different ones. If you use 3F, you say fame, you will say finance and female, right? Fame, finance, and female. Those are the three areas, you know. Some people use wealth, they use 3 other W's. Some people use it, but the truth is this: women or fame or sex is one of the areas that have the capacity to pull someone down, and one need to be careful. So now you ask yourself, now that we are cutting or you are engaged, so what are we supposed to do? Guys, what you do now is to work towards investing in one another. All the petting, and I'll say this, that the moment you start, I'm a guy, right? And I've been in that area. You know, the moment you start indulging in the kissing, hugging, is very sweet too. Very, very. Am I right or right? Somebody should respond. Am I right or right?
You are very correct, sir.
Talking from experience, Abi. All right. Now, so if by the time you meet one another and your focus is on kissing and all that, you will discover that there's going to be a misplace of priority. When she comes, you want to hold her, and today you hold, you kiss. When she comes the next time, the thing you'll be thinking of is you will want to continue from where you stop, and you have some valuable things to discuss. Courtship period is a period where you get to know one another, where you get to know what the person believes, when you get to know his threshold, gets to know a lot of things, and it's a place where you are actually looking for how to add value to one another, not to devalue one another, right? So you are not meant to, you know, some of us will just say, should be just the deed. Listen to me, for a guy, it may be a deed that is just for me to enter and come out. For a woman, it's not more than, it's a bit more than that. You know, because for a woman, before she can open her legs, you have to go through the process, which I'm going to talk about in sex and marriage. You're going to have to go through a process, you know, before all these things can happen. A man is moved by sight, a woman is moved by words. So we need to understand that. So that proportion, don't allow yourself to go through that guilt trip, as it were. Don't. And instead of that, kindly cut it. And there is a way you can literally deal with that. And by getting yourself involved in some activities that can distract your mind. Listen, somebody said, I want to deliver myself from sex, and he went into 14 days of fasting and prayers just to deliver himself from that thing. Friends, on the 14th day, when he wants to break, he actually break the fast with sex. That's how powerful that one is. So, question you ask yourself is this. The question, so how can I deal with sex? How can I handle sex? I know these are questions that people are asking, but don't forget that I mentioned earlier that both of you, it is your responsibility to put a check and balance in your relationship. Right? Is your, so don't allow the devil to put some things in your mind that will make you continue or foster some things. So you must approach your marriage as both as a spiritual and emotional thing, whole person, you know. And then if like I mentioned, if the person cannot control himself when he's single, there is high chances that the person may not be able to control himself or herself when the person is married. And that is where they will face a lot of sexual temptations, right? Every one of us will face it, and we can't shy away from it. But this is the time that instead of indulging in some of this pecking, kissing, and all that, why don't you think of what value? Ask yourself the question: where are we? Where are we going? What is the next step and all that? So that by the time you hug yourself, there'll be consciousness of the fact that, look, the end result means a lot. So we need to put a stop before we go to a point where there's no returns. And please note this, don't deceive yourself. Some of us may not be able to control some things. So it's better not to start with what you don't have the capacity to stop. So please be accountable to God and also be accountable to one another. Is that clear? All right. So good. So let's talk about some of the steps. Like I said, I'm trying to merge 2 or 3 classes together. Let's look at some of the steps to you can apply in handling sexual temptation. Some of the steps that you can apply in handling sexual temptation. The first step that I want all of us to please take note. The first step, which I said I want all of us to please take note, is, are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. So I said the first step, which I want all of us to, I want to be sure that we are listening now. The first step is, number 1, be a murderer. That is number 1. The first step is be a murderer. I know you are wondering, what am I talking about? What is PK was talking about today? How can I be a murderer?
M-U-R-D-E-R-E-R, sir.
Yes, M-U-R-D-E-R. Akmanyon, yes. Yes. So, but this time around, be a murderer of thoughts. Be a murderer of thoughts. Kill some thoughts. This is a time you need to guide your thoughts. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So if you can kill some thoughts by taking time to cultivate your inner life, it will help you to overcome sexual temptation. You've heard this statement that says, whatsoever thing that is good, whatsoever thing that is noble, whatsoever thing that is of good report, think of these things. So try as much as possible. Like I have mentioned, your mind is your sex organ. Your mind is your sex organ. So we're saying, guys, for you to be able to live above temptation, to live above sexual desires, first of all, guide your thoughts. Kill those thoughts that is leading you into that. That is the first thing that you need to do. Number 2, you need to anticipate and prevent sexual temptation. I'll say it again. And anticipate and prevent sexual temptation. You know that this thing will lead to this. Take away from it. You know that when you look at the woman too much, it will lead to this. Stay away from it. Prevent sexual temptation. And this will make you to be a bit, number 1, being spiritually sensitive to God. Right? So please, let's take time to guide, to prevent sexual temptation. When the Bible says, lead me not into temptation, you too don't lead yourself into one, right? So it's very important. Then number 2, right? Or number 3?
Number 3.
Right. Guide your association. That's not. Guide your association or your relationship. Be careful about your association. Be careful of the kind of friends that you move with. Be careful of because the kind of friends that you move with are most of the time, they will be passing some messages to you. If you have with some friends that they're always talking about sex, they're always talking about their girlfriend or talking about the kind of body slam they've had, they are passing information, they are sowing seeds into your life. And unconsciously, you'll see yourself acting in that direction. I'm a product of such things that when I was growing up, I have a lot of people, so even in the Christian faith, when they got to know that I've never had sex, they were making jest of me, and they said they have had it and it was very sweet and all that. And those are things I was hear most of the time. You see me here and all that. And it affected so when, even before I got married, I had somebody like that. And I just wanted to test something. Because those are the information I've had and I wanted to give it a try. Right. So, but for you not to get to that extent, if you have some friends that they have 3, 4, 5 girlfriends, they are sowing seeds into your life without you knowing. So if you want to avoid it, please try as much as possible to guide against such friends. Some of the friends that will be telling you more about girlfriend, about boyfriend, about you and your boyfriend, have you kissed? or you are your boyfriend, yeah, should be getting married. Have you had sex? You know, if me and my boyfriend, we have done it, or in fact, I've even mistakenly, I've got pregnant, I've had abortion, and all. If they are sowing this kind of seeds in your heart, and most of us, when we're in secondary school or university and all that, you might have had some people that they talk about it, and you will now be wondering, I mean, so that is how it is. Wow, me too, I want this, and then before you know what's happening, that is what we occupying your mind. So please try as much as possible to be very careful of your association. Cultivate and guide your relationship. Be deliberate. Don't be sentimental about your relationship. Be very sensitive. Very, very sensitive. Number four, flee fornication. Run away from it. Not only you fleeing, any suggestive act that can lead to sex, run away from it. Pornography, for example, watching videos, I know it's going to stimulate, it's going to have, run away from it. You know, so try as much as possible. If you are with a guy, every one of us, we have our own spec. There are some people that when you see, this person, man, I'm gonna do. Hallelujah to Jesus. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You will see some people and you know that this is your spec. Maybe I should ask us, some of us, you have your own spec? I do. I know my spec. Daddy, you have spec, Abby?
Yes.
So all of us, we have spec. So please, when you have people that is your spec, don't think that nothing can happen. Anything can happen. All they just need is for the information to be passed. And if the person can decode it before you know what's happening, there'll be an emotional connection. And that is all. That is all. So when you know your spec, run away from it. Somebody come to my office one time like that. I know this is my spec. And the person was playing. And I saw that I started developing that likeness. You know what I told the person? He said, you know what? I don't think I would like to see you again. I was like, what happened? He said, it's because the way you talk, I like you. I like you are just like it. But if we continue like this, I'll sleep with you. Or do you want me to sleep with you? I said, so please don't come. And the person tomorrow respected my view, right? So I'm saying it, I know my limitations. If you have fear and you are with me, I may not be moved. But if you are dark, beautiful, don't let me tell you that. Oh God, there are some like that. Oh, those are the ones that will kill me fast. Oh God. So anyway, I'm just saying here that we should know our spec, and if you know that when you see somebody, this one can lead you to run away. Run away from some of these side attractions from opposite sex. Is that okay? So that is that. Another point is, please go and marry. Fix your date on time. Don't be too overdue in your relationship. You need to be honest with one another. That is why we say that the recommendation of people going through courtship should be between the month of 9 months and 3 years. 3 years, 9 months and 3 years, in the sense that they are always seeing themselves and all that. Some might be 4 years because maybe one have gone to serve and 1 year is out of the relationship. They're just writing letters or that one. But if it's a situation where you have to see each other almost every time, between 9 months and 3 years, you are good to marry. Right? So just go and marry and fix a wedding date and call me to pray over your destiny. You fix your honeymoon and then continue to, hallelujah, just go ahead. And then after which you will call me for the naming, and I'll be so glad to name your child. And I'll name the first one, I'll name the second, I'll name the third, I'll name the fourth, and I'll call Gabriella. Should I come for the sixth one to come and do the naming for sixth baby? Right? Chukwu Emeka, is Gabriella there? All right. Anyway, so you are there, right?
Yeah.
So I said I should come for the sixth one, Abi. You name me for the sixth one. All right. So anyway, yeah. So Anyway, all these things I've just mentioned are some of the things that you need to do to help you escape from sexual temptation. Right. So let me just now talk about sex in marriage. And this time around, please, sex in marriage. You know, like I said, I want to talk about sex in marriage now, and this is the part that a lot of us have issue. You know, I remember many years ago, a couple came to my office, and they asked the question. Actually, they actually came for deliverance, and then so by the time we started discussing, they said that the reason why we came for deliverance is because we feel that something is wrong, that my wife has never enjoyed sex, and it seems as if something is happening to her spiritual life and all this, and all that. And I paused the person and said, "How do you mean she has never enjoyed sex?" Say, well, said, we've been married for 8 years. We have 2 kids, but my wife has never, she most of the times is always avoiding sex. She doesn't like these things. And we now ask the question, you know, this case is not deliverance, it's wisdom, right? What do I mean by that? There's some knowledge that is need to be attained, you know. So the woman answered, well, yeah, what happened? And I said, this man is always coming, and he doesn't understand what it means that I'm wet. He doesn't understand when I'm dry. He's just, or his own is just to enter. And not only that, he's always doing one position, right? You know, just bang, 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 and that was all. You know, so he said that, and I asked, do you know, has your wife ever reached orgasm? And the man said, Kilonjebe, what's the meaning of that? You know, that is how those things said. That is the problem, because you don't understand what orgasm is. Just like when you ejaculate, a woman needs to reach orgasm, a place where is the climate in the relationship. For example, a woman may not have, you may not enter the woman before you reach orgasm. All it needs is for you to actually play that. And in this class, I'm going to tell you some of the things you need to do. Sex is a journey, it's not a destination. Sex is a journey. In other words, when you're married, please, I know most of us, they've passed a lot of information to our mind. You must press this, you must beat the bomb, all these things. And those are the things that you have learned and you are used to, which is okay, very, very okay. But the truth is this, there is more to it. It's not a journey, it's a destination. It's an expression of love, right? So when you talk about sex and marriage, you're actually telling the person that I love you. And in doing so, your focus should be more of investing, ensuring that the person is enjoying it and not enduring it. You know, just like one of the people were asking, and he said that my wife is making noise and all that. I mean, when we're having sex, I like the way I have, because my wife is making noise. And the woman said, Emma Dalot, I don't mind him. The man does not understand the difference between the noise of pleasure and noise of pain. He said, what do you mean by that? He said, sometimes when he's entering me, I'm shouting, I'm telling him to stop, but he's still entering. Actually, he's entering the wrong hole. So that is when I'm shouting. I'm not shouting because I'm enjoying it. I'm shouting because he's paining me, because he has entered the wrong hole. You know, and the man was like, why didn't you talk? Because you don't pay attention, don't listen, right? So all these things are things that I'm going to talk about here now. And just like the story of somebody that came to the class and said something that the wife said, I don't like having sex with my husband. Say, why? He said, it's because my husband, each time we're having sex, is always making noise. Always making noise. And the man said, and the woman now said, it's because, you know, when he's doing that, we have neighbors, we have people around us and all that. And the moment he's making noise, they are hearing, and it's a bit distracting. He said, aha. So the man now said, aha, is that the reason why you don't? You know what? I will not be making noise again. Is that all? I will not be making noise again. You know, it was communicated in Yoruba, which that says, "Mi ò ní máa pariwo mọ́." which means I will not be making noise. Let me be benefit of those of us that does not understand Yoruba. I will still use English to explain it. Say, okay, I will not be making noise again. So on that fateful day, they started the journey, right? The man said, don't worry, we'll not be making noise. So when they started the journey, so he started having, the way I'm moving, I'm on top of the woman. I'm just giving an example. I'm on top of the woman, and he says, do you see that I'm not making noise? Right? Maybe I should stand if you can see me so that you can just view the whole concept, right? So the man said, he said, can you see? Do you see I'm not making noise? Do you see that I'm not making noise? So they continue, and the man was telling him, do you see I'm not making noise? Yeah, and continue. I said, do you see I'm not making noise? And by the time he continued, he said, do you see I'm not making noise? Do you see I'm not making noise? Do you see I'm not making noise? Question, guys. The guy, was he making noise or not?
Terribly making noise.
Are you sure? But the guy said, did you see I'm not making noise? Anyway, it's okay. So I just use that. Now, why am I going all through these things? See, there are methodologies, there are processes in making having sex. And I need to say this, that we have this notion in our mind that, look, this is how sex is. Some of us, we have watched some pornography, we've watched some films and all that, and they've painted the concept of sex to us. Listen, relax. Yeah. When you are married, it is a journey, and you need to learn the process. You need to learn what it entails. It is not just you going in, So sometimes if you want to learn how to worship God, right, in a very place that will take people to the third heaven, you need to learn how to play keyboard, right? Learn how to play keyboard, right? And in this keyboard, the middle finger is the power finger. Somebody say power finger, right? Okay. Nobody saying power finger. Chooks, say power finger.
Power.
Power. This middle one.
Power finger.
Right. So if you want to take your wife to the third heaven, right, learn to play keyboard. You want to worship is sex, you need to learn the fingering, play the keyboard, and that is the fingering. So you need to learn all these things, how you need to go around. And please note this, I know because of my time, I'm trying to see how I'm going to present this way so that I will not pollute your ears. Anyway, I will still continue, right? So there, like I said, there's what we call the mumu buttons. There is a place in your body that is the mumu buttons. There's a place in your body that is the point you press is a turn on, and also have turn off. A lot of people feel the turn off or the turn on of most ladies is the clitoris and all that. Some, it may be turn off, but you need to know the design of your wife. Know the design of your husband. So some people, this is their turn on. The moment you click is a weak point. The moment you kiss this place, your wife will click this place that is ready. Some people is here, some people. So you need to know which one. Some people say it's kissing, and some people don't like. Some ladies don't like kissing. Some guys don't like kissing. So it may not be there. Might be kissing this, might be kissing the neck. So there are places in your body. It might be the nipple, it might be the back of your head, it might be the legs and all that. But it is a journey. That's what I'm saying. So you need to be adventurous in this whole process, not just being a go-getter alone. Go-getter in the sense that the only thing that concerns you is to enter. Some of us, we do that. But that is not it. It is a journey. Kiss the leg, kiss the neck, suck the breast, all these ones, and all these areas you need to. Some your partner might like it, some you might not like it, but you will see the body language. The moment you are doing it and she says, know that, you are hitting it, man. But the moment you are doing it and she's taking her body, know that, that is not the right place. So you need to learn that. And the fingering, like I mentioned, you need to know when you are in the pressing some places and going into the gym, the D-spot, clicking, playing with the clitoris, all these things you need to know how to do all these things. All these things matters. And please, somebody will say, before you actually enter, you need to be adventurous. Go round. Hallelujah to Jesus. Just ensure that you press the places and you kiss your husband, you kiss your wife, and the woman need to be ready. And please note this, each time when you want to start this whole journey, the woman, by the time she gets to a point, she release some chemicals, as it were. Is a liquid thing to lubricate ourselves. You have the tendency to release some part to lubricate your place, and the essence of it is to reduce friction, so that by the time you enter, you are entering the holies of holies. And then you too. And then when you enter, it's not the time for you to be doing bish. Just relax, continue your play and all that. No, it's possible for a woman to reach orgasm 3 times, 4 times in just one journey. It depends on how you handle it. So if you are expert, if you are good, go ahead, fine. But please take note, when you are in there, don't rush, because that's what we call premature ejaculation. It's caused as a result of excitement. Sometimes it's stress. It all depends. But you handle it. You are dealing with your wife. It's not your girlfriend. It's your wife. So treat her as a queen. Play every playable. And your wife, don't be too stish. Don't be too stingy, self. Even if he's not pressing the right place, lead him. Somebody said, if I lead him now, you think I'm promiscuous. Listen to me, guys. Listen to me. It is your partner. It is your body. It is our body. His body belongs to you. Your body belongs to him. And if he's not getting, lead him, direct him. Just like somebody said, I've not had sex with my wife my husband and I feel like having. And I said, so what is waiting you? He said, because he said that he's saying he's tired and all that. I said, guy, tired. When he's tired, it's even good. Just let him sleep. Just let him lie down. Maybe it's the body that is tired. You just go there, play, bring it out. You are the one that need it. Bring it out. Play with it very well. And by the time he stands up, climb on him. Even if he's lying down like this, by the time you start climbing and all that, say, oh, what is happening? Oh, what is happening? And before you know what's happening, you hold with one hand. When what's happening, hold with another. And you now say, yeah, thank you. Yeah. You don't need to rush. Just, it is your property, right? Anyway, I'm saying all this because you need to understand that this thing, you have to collaborate. You have to be involved. Both of you need to go through it. Don't say, oh, I've never enjoyed sex and all that. Let the guy know. Go through the journeys to journey together, right? So it is very, very essential. Not only that, now, even when you're having sex, that's what we call your partner will enjoy the sex when you actually know the mood that is set. You need to understand the mood. Another thing is this. That is what we call deep penetration. The penetrating part, when you penetrate now, please, sometimes some ladies may not want deep penetration. Don't say because you have had your sex with your ex and all that, and then you want to use it to compare. No, our body system's different. So if you are doing deep penetration, some ladies, it may be affecting them because maybe they have a lower womb and all that, and you are hitting the wrong thing. So it's not the size of your penis that will determine the pleasure she will get. It's your ability to play the game, right? It's your ability to be able to press the right button, to push there. That is very important. And so when you are in there, note the one that if you feel the person. So if it is slow motion, do your slow motion. If it is fast one, do that. Another thing that's important here in this area of sex, now I'm talking to people that are married. So when you're married, I'm just saying these are things you need to do. Please, you need to learn to sanctify the whole place. I know somebody's asking what's the meaning of sanctify. I'm saying here, when you have your own apartment, don't restrict sex to bedroom alone, right? Do it everywhere. You enter the gate, start there. If the order of your place, go there. In the kitchen, she's cooking, go everywhere. Because there are some places that psychologically she will reach climate in a particular place. In the bedroom, don't restrict it to the bed. And when you're doing bed, don't restrict it to the bed. So in the coaching, in fact, I remember many years ago, I bought a chair just like this. I bought a chair like this, in my office like this. And then when I brought it in and I was studying, and one time my wife just came, and before you know what's happening, we just sat down together, and then we started kissing, and then we started having it. And then the next thing I hear, the chair just went, wow, got spoiled. History. That one will enter museum. It enters. In fact, because that is where the anointing flows. Hallelujah to Jesus. All right. So now I'm saying this. Mary, why are you laughing? Mary, why are you laughing? She has gone. Okay. So we'll come back. All right, now. So I'm saying this, that you should learn. Your bedroom, your bedroom, your parlor, everywhere. Just make sure that you create opportunity to have it there. Yeah, sometimes it's fun that happens. That is another thing you need to know. The other one, which I will close with, is positioning. You know, there are different positions. Don't restrict yourself to missionary journey alone, styles alone. You need to learn different styles. The lady on top, you on top, she be the driver, you be the driven, you know, all these things you need to learn. So sometimes the guy will be on top, sometimes the woman will be on top, she'll be in control. And this thing will help because it helps to be able to control the places where she will know will be more productive, more fulfilling for her. Not just this, only this. So sometimes you come, you do and go 6'9", you know, 6'9", you know, sometimes it's bend down and peak, sometimes it's doggy, any style, just, and you are married. So please explore. That is just the concept. Explore. I know some of us, you are still using cotton wool to remove your, yes, don't, please remove the cotton wool so that you can learn fast. So by the time you are married, do it, right? So all this will help you. And by the time you do that, it will spot out some ones that you would do. For example, my wife, I like, we like sex. I like sex, right? My wife would turn like this. I put toss, I come on top. I love that one. And then the foam, you know, this is where the foam is. I'm coming from behind like this. And then, man, is always, so I'm on top of the foam. And it's always very interesting. So know your own wife. Know your own, the one that is good. But the only thing that will help you is when you literally explore. So don't just restrict yourself to one area, one thing. Try as much as possible to taste different style. Learn different style. The one that you will stand, the one that you carry her like this, and you'll be doing this. If you have the muscle, fine. Just try it. There is no one that is holy, there is no one that is unholy. All of them are divine. Hallelujah. So as much as you can enter to the throne of grace, just go on and worship. All right. So that's is about sex in marriage, sex positioning, and all that. Okay, I know somebody want to ask questions. What about if it's my first time of having sex? We've never had sex. I'm a virgin. She's a virgin and all that. Oh, all well and good. Now, this is an opportunity also, please. When you want to start, like I mentioned, don't be scared, right? You know, when you say somebody is a virgin, is the part that is covered, the top part is covered, and it needs to be open. Yeah, so you can use when you do it, but be patient. Don't rush it. Be patient. Just be going in gradually. And in case you find it difficult to, and it's still becoming painful, yes. So some it may be, some it may not be painful, but literally somebody says it's painful anyway. Anyhow, different people have different, but it's a mixture of pain and pleasure if you know how to handle it. So by the time you break the amen, as you call it, I don't know, amen. What do you call it? Somebody should help me.
Amen.
Amen. All right. I am very sure you're following. That's why I asked. Okay. So by the time you do that, you discover that yes, you'll be able to penetrate. And somebody will say, okay, what if I'm still feeling the pain? Now you have some liquid you can use. We have what we call KY jelly. Yeah, KY jelly that can help the process. It does to help to lubricate the place. Now the concept is this: the place need to be well lubricated. The place need to be well lubricated. And if he has not been well, these things, you can heat it. Even when you are married, sometimes the place will be dry. Just have that machine, that tool, have it close to you. The lubricant, get it close to you so it can help your ministry, you know. And please note this. Somebody said, you don't need to have sex in the morning or have sex in the night. See, it is been proven that sometimes quicking, that is the fast one that will just quickly chop and listen. Sometimes it's very sweet. The one that you have not prepared for. The moment you just do big, and then both of you, aha, that one. Then for the one that you are preparing is okay. There's another one that before you can make a demand in the night, so start preparing from morning. Send text messages, prepare the mind of your partner, and all that, so that the person will know that, oh, like I said, the sex organ is your mind. So coming back to the first night encounter, as it were, both virgin, please don't expect anything best, and don't attach sex, either the pleasure and all that. Don't attach the first experience as the definition of how sex will look like. No. For example, some of you are novice. Both of you are novice. You have never had it before. It's a journey. So go through the journey. If you need to ask questions, ask. When you did this. And that's why I'm taking time. You can see the number of minutes I've spent on explaining this to us. You know, you're taking time to explain so that you can actually spend time to enjoy it. But ask questions. Ask yourself, how do you feel? And at the end of the journey, please learn to say thank you to one another. Learn to say thank you to one another, so that don't look as if you have just been used. Ask the question, hope you enjoyed it. Ask each other, hope you are okay, hope I'm okay. If you are not okay today, you'll be okay tomorrow. But you are learning in process. You are learning the wiring, the makeup, and the things that turn the person up and the person that turn the person down. So don't say, I'm too busy. I don't want to have sex. You cannot be too busy than busy, right? So indirectly, I'm saying that prepare your mind to go through the journey, right? So with that, I want to go, when you have sex, you know, the next thing is she become pregnant. When you have sex as a married couple, the next might be she become pregnant. Now, there are some points where, you know, she may not get pregnant immediately. Another, don't let that one disturb you. Marriage is not about sex, right? It's not just about that. But make sure that both of you have developed friendship relationship with one another. You know, just try as much as possible to be on the same page and be there for one another. So if there's a delay the first year, delay the second year, delay the third year, don't be bothered. Yeah, the truth is that people will bother for you, because the moment you are married, they start counting. They start looking at your womb. If after 1 year nothing happened, they will begin to ask. 2 years, they begin to ask. But don't put pressure on yourself. God is the rewarder. He will definitely give you your child. So both of you try as much as possible to be on the same page. All right. So I mentioned that. Now, let me go to now you've had sex. Now the baby comes. So I'll just talk about a little aspect of parenting. So preparation for parenting, let me put it that way. So now you have sex, and then she conceives. How do you know that she's pregnant? Yeah, that's the question you ask. How do I know that my wife is pregnant? You know, the first time you have sex, I mean, the time you have sex, pregnancy comes when the sperm, right, goes in there to activate the womb, as it were. You know, when the sperm goes in there, it's, you know, and you know, when a man releases, it releases about 30 million cells looking for the womb to fertilize, right? So that 30 cells is only looking for one, you know, sharpshooter is just going for that one and all that, you know. So when you say somebody has okay, it's 400, not 300. Is it 30 million? Somebody said it's 400 million sperm cells is being released. Anyway, so what is being released now when a man ejaculates is going in there. Now, the weak cell among the weak sperm cells among those cells that is released will be dropping. They will not be able to fertilize the ovum. But the other one that is strong is the one that will be going through the fallopian tube to where the ovum is, and then fertilize it. The moment it fertilizes, bam, the person is pregnant. You will know the person is pregnant after 2 weeks. In other words, 38 to 48 hours after your ovulation, there's tendency for a woman to get pregnant. I will explain a bit about the ovulation later, right? There's tendency. And then after that 2 weeks, there is this conception that, yeah, possibility you are pregnant. But 8 weeks, it begins to show that, guy, you are pregnant. And after that period, is it 9 months, right? That's about 40 weeks. Then you see that you give birth to a bouncy baby boy or a bouncy baby girl. Now, when it comes to twins too, there are twins that we have that they said that it's got twins. One distintia two or two enter one womb. I don't know how it is being defined, but you can read more on that. But the bottom line is your wife is pregnant. Congratulations, sharpshooter. So when your wife is pregnant, how do you know? What are the signs that shows your wife is pregnant? Now, the first thing she will observe is that she missed her period. Then she begin to feel sick. During the day, she just feel tired. She have what we call morning sickness. Sometimes you see the breast has changed, become bigger or tender. These are some of the signs. The nipples become darker. And all these things are some of the signs in a woman. And what other things? Okay, frequency in urination is other things. Constipation also happens during these are early stage of marriage, right? So of pregnancy, you experience some level of tiredness. Your tongue, you begin to have metallic taste in your tongue. So these are the early stage, with the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, going to 8 weeks, some of the things, so they will know that you are pregnant. So we have come to celebrate with you that you are pregnant. Then later, the abdomen begin to enlarge. That is the later sign, begin to increase from 30 weeks, begin to increase to 36 weeks, before 40 weeks, it begin to expand, as it were. So as a result, there might be need for you to do some tests. You have other things that will definitely show up that we know that, look, the baby is growing, right? So you do some tests. What are the tests that you will do? Sometimes during your first 2 weeks, you do the urination. They would ask you to go and urinate and use it to test. Where they have a paper that they use to test. I don't know the name of that paper now. It has disappeared from my head. Anyway, those of us here, you know them, right? How many of us know what I'm talking about? You understand what I'm saying, right? Hello, can you hear me?
So I see that paper that usually shows 2 lines.
I would say you are positive, pregnant, or you're not pregnant.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, so you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. All right. So let me go on now. Because of my time, I think I've spent a lot of time to explain this thing. All right. Anyway, so they will do the test because you miss your period, you are then. So by the time the pregnancy grows, then you will do other tests like ultrasound test, right? That one you also do that, where they will test the baby. I'm saying this because I'm not taking parenting. I'm just giving us the introduction to parenting just for you to have an idea. When you are married and you are pregnant, there'll be another aspect of parenting that you get to know. Anyway, so they will do ultrasound, they will do X-rays, they will do X-rays. Some of these things are things that the tests that we've done, and there are some tests that we've done to test the genotype, the sex of the baby, right? Either is a boy or is a girl and all that. Okay, so that is that. Now, the date of delivery will also be calculated from this period. We call it EDD, expected date of delivery. Expected date of delivery. It was being calculated from the last day you find you saw your period. So they will calculate 2 weeks or 2 weeks plus. So when you know the last day of your distance, some people had 7 days plus, 7 days minus, which means your EED will be between this particular period and this particular period. But they will calculate it from the first day of your last menstrual period. and they will add 9 months to it. 9 months to it, which means if it is 9 months, they will calculate 9 months, and then they will add 7 plus 7 minus. So it can come before the 9 months, it can come after the 9 months, based on your last period. And I will explain why it is being done as your last menstrual period. Your menstrual period, that period you cannot be pregnant. But 7 days before, 7 days after, you can be pregnant. 2 weeks after is your peak period. I'm going to explain that later, right? So those are the expected dates, and we expect you to go to the hospitals to go and do checkups. We call it antenatal care. You know, it's very, very good that you register your wife either in a private hospital and also in the federal hospital. The essence is for them to be able to counsel you, guide you through the process. When you are pregnant, please, you are not permitted to take any drugs. Malaria drugs, you know, symptoms of pregnancy is malaria symptoms. So when your wife you are married and you need to have malaria symptoms, don't quickly use malaria drugs. Let her go to the hospital. They are the one that will test, because if you use malaria drugs, it will kill the pregnancy. So I've seen some people experiencing abortion because of those things that they experienced during that period. All right, so you know, but you need to go through the antenatal counseling and all that, and then it will tell you some of the tips that will help you during pregnancy. For example, there is need for you to take in good meal. I hope this class is not so boring, because I think I'm just talking and talking and talking.
It's not boring.
Okay, good. So I can continue, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Gabriela, can I continue?
Yes, sir.
All right, so good. So I'll continue now, since she has given me the order to continue. Yeah, so I continue. Now, I was saying that you need to go through what was I talking about?
Antenatal.
Yes, thank you. The antenatal period, that they will teach you health information, some tips that will help you during pregnancy. And I mentioned that they will tell you the kind of food you can take. There's need for you to take proteins, taking vitamins, taking some mineral, salt, carbohydrate, and all the foods that will help the baby to grow, the fetus to grow. Is very important. So they will tell you cannot just eat any food, because the more food you eat, the more it's either it affect the baby or it make the baby grow bigger than expected. So you see some people, their baby size is 4 point something or 5 point something, when the normal is supposed to be 3, 2 point something, 3, you know. And then when that happens, that your baby weighs about 4 point something or 8 point 5 point something and all that, it will result to you tearing. They will tear your yash and they bring the baby out, right? And they will seed your yash back. All right. So now you begin to gain weight, and please take note, you begin to gain weight as you are growing. So there is need for cleanliness. Personal cleanliness is necessary. Exercise is necessary. Rest is necessary. Procreation is necessary. As you are growing, you will begin to change your clothing that will not make your stomach so tight. You wash your bowels, you wash your bladders, taking fruits, taking vegetables. These are things that they will ask you guys to do, because these are some of the things that will help you in your period, right? When you are taking your baby through, because anything that you take in will have effect on your baby. Please, taking of orange or anything that is orange and all that during your first 3 months, please avoid it. Orange, anything that has well, I don't know the name you call it, but some of these, there are some things you don't take during your first 3 months. You don't take orange because it have cortis in it, and cortis most of the time affect babies. It causes abortion without you knowing. So ladies, these are some of the things that you might be taught during your premarital counseling. I mean, your antenatal, right? So your breast, you need to wash your breast and all that. Anyway, so when your baby start growing, and it's growing, get to a point, it's time for you to push, right? And then we know there are signs that will happen during labor, right? So you see that either begin to dilate and all that. So when it happens, don't let me boss. Some people say there are about 3 stages of dilation or 3 stages. The first one, we begin to feel pain. The one is full dilation. The other one, the baby now doesn't come. All these ones, go and read about it. At the end, it's not painful. You just as if you are going to the toilet, and then you boom, and the baby will come out. Right?
Amen. Amen.
you know. So, but there is need for you to do exercise. Somebody asked this question: can I have sex during pregnancy? They say yes. It's very, very important. Please. The only thing there is that the sex position will be different. The sex position will be different. There is need for you to have it. It's even very good because it will help to open the place. You know, it will help you to open the place, and the more it opens, the more the baby. So it's very good, right? All right. So now the baby has come out. There is need for you now to avoid another baby to come in the next 3 months, or the next 9 months or 1 year. What do? We do what we call family planning, right? Plan your parenthood. So in family planning, there are 3. Oh, I need to shut down now. I have another meeting. All right. Let me see how I can round up this session, right? So in family planning, we have 3 methods. I group them under 3 methods. The first one, we call the first one the natural method. The second method is artificial method. The third one is barrier method. The natural method, the first one is withdrawal method. Withdrawal method is the point where when you're having sex and you're about to come, you want to release, you quickly remove your penis and all that so that you come out. It is being noted that it is not 85% safe. It is not. So don't think that the baby, you cannot impregnate your wife during that period, right? Yes, it may be dissatisfying. Some of the side effects. You may not enjoy it because when the sperm is going in, that's where you feel it more. But now you remove it, is all this one. So, but anyway, that is the natural method for family planning. The second one is understanding the safe period. They call them rhythms. Understanding the safe period. And I try to mention it. There are 2 methods in a woman. There is ovulation and there is menstrual. The ovulation, the menstrual period is the point where the blood, the eggs, the woman usually secretes eggs, and that egg is waiting to be fertilized. So when the whole egg is now being formed, now at the point when it is fully formed, all the eggs around is fully formed, that point is your ovulation period. Now, when nothing fertilizes the eggs, each of the eggs will now begin to die one by one, one by one. When it's dying, it's returning back to blood. When it's dying, it's turning back to blood. When it's dying, it's turning back to blood. So by the time it's dying. By the time the whole have died, that is where you have what we call the menstrual period. Is somebody with me? So the menstrual period is the release of the blood that's supposed to be fertilized, that is not fertilized. The ovulation period is the point where both all the eggs have been formed, right? And so the behavioral pattern for these 2 people are different. Fortunately, they are 2 weeks apart, right? So for the menstrual period, there are preparatory stage for the menstrual period. Some is between 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days to the menstrual period, right? So that 3 to 5 days, at that point, the eggs are dying. For ladies, you discover that when it is 3 days to your menstrual period, you begin to see signs. You begin to have pimples. You begin to feel some of these things. That is, at that point, the woman can never get pregnant. That is. I'm talking about the reading. Cannot get pregnant. Then 2 days after your ovulation, your menstrual period, she cannot get pregnant. Why? Because the eggs are just forming. After the eggs that has turned to blood is what is coming out. And somebody said it's dirty. Yes. So it's what is coming out as your menstrual period. So when those ones goes out, which is within 3 to 5 days, then new ones will start forming. 2 days, nothing will happen. So that period is what we call safe period. Hello, do you understand it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I'll rush now. So those are the natural period. Knowing the safe period is, and the withdrawal method is the safe period. The artificial period, artificial methods is the use of IUD, right? Intra uteral device, IUD, or the use of pills. You know, some people use hormonal contraception, contraceptives, the pills, and all that. So some people, those ones also have side effects. You know, there are some other things that they use, all to prevent pregnancy. Then we have the barrier method. The barrier method is the use of condom or the diaphragm. The use of condom or diaphragm. And some also, for barrier method, they use some creams, some jelly that they put into, or we call the vaginal tablet, that even when it comes, it will not happen. It's just as if it's killing germs. That's how it's going to be killing this cell, right? All these ones are some of the things for preventing pregnancy, or family planning, actually, for family planning, so that you can space your baby better. I think with this few points of mine, I've been able to explain these things and to let you know that sex is very interesting, but when it is done with the confile of marriage, it helps your marriage. And understanding sex process, understanding that sex is good, sex is natural, sex is spiritual, and God is the one that ordained sex, and he wants you to enjoy it, not to endure. You will discover that you will enjoy your home and your marriage. By the time you are pregnant, you are meant to be there for your partner, right? Please take note of this. When your wife is pregnant, which is part of the things I'm supposed to say later, but let me quickly mention it, that the behavioral pattern when she's pregnant is different. You have to endure. That's when she will ask you that she wants to eat ebiriko, and you are in US, and you want to eat ebiriko. Ebiriko can be found only in Nigeria, and that is the only thing that she feel like eating. Or she feel like eating party jollof rice. You know, these things does not look normal to you, but please be patient. It's not her. Sometimes it's the food that she doesn't eat normally is the food that will be so appealing to her. Please just don't fight as a guy. Hey, no, that's the time you need to be tender and be careful. Sometimes, even if you're in Lagos, Nigeria, or you're in the part of the place where you can get it, go to the place where you are doing party and ask, please, my wife need these things. All the people knows that this is how pregnant women behave. Some people will say, I want leaf moi moi. Leave moi, which means sometimes you might need to venture into or ask somebody to help you cook it. Sometimes it's pepper soup. Sometimes it's ogi. I know. And some of our best food at that period, she will just be irritated by those things. So please don't mind it. It's a process. So this pregnancy, she is not the one pregnant. We are the one that is pregnant. Do you understand? So don't think it's our pregnancy. No, we are pregnant, right? And please go through the process with her so that at the end of the day, she will feel the love and the concern that you have for her and also for your child. And note this, anything you are doing at that point, your baby is listening, your baby is hearing. So if you love your wife, your baby will feel it. If you don't love, she will feel it, because the connection between the mother and the baby is always there. So baby is also start feeling the sound and all that. All right, so I think at this point, I need to stop at this junction. Any question?
Thank you, sir. Sir, when you asked why was I laughing that time, my network just went off.
Yeah, I was wondering. I thought maybe you don't like me that much again.
Yeah. Sir,
All
I
right.
wanted to I have a question.
Please
During
go on.
those safe period you talked about and how to avoid pregnancy when you just